Hello, 505. My name is Eric Lopez, and this is my recording for our Module 5 discussion. So, the main theme of this week's reading is separate is not equal. Whether it's done overtly by law, as with Jim Crow in the South, or systemically through discriminatory loan practices, redlining, and white flight, as we see in the North, the result is the same. Two systems of education, one meant to uplift to the fullest of potentials, the other meant to perpetuate false narratives to validate inequity. We see this with our Brown versus Board of Education case of 1954 that instructed schools to desegregate students. These themes touch on not only the facilities and the materials, but also the instruction. The implementation of Brown was delayed because there was no way of enforcing it for 10 years. Then, through the Civil Rights Act, we see the carrot and stick approach of funding finally make schools motivated to change. Good schools get funds, bad schools lose funds. Sadly, the integration of schools often left white administration and staff, while the highly qualified teachers and administrators of colors were pushed out. Unfortunately, simply forcing schools to teach students of color was not enough to overcome decades of educational, cultural, and structural discrimination. As we see in Eyes on the Prize, busing was introduced as a way to blend separated communities. This approach brought much resistance from white communities that felt their children were being unfairly treated in an attempt to lift up another community. At the same time, we see litigation occurring in places like Crystal City, Texas, and San Francisco, California, demanding the fair and effective education of students of foreign cultures. In San Francisco, Asian students were struggling to find meaning in all English instruction. Conversely, in Crystal City, minority students were fighting over traffic tracking and racially discriminatory textbooks that displayed their culture in a negative light. During the late 60s and early 70s, we also see a call to the end of sexist practices in schools from sports to sciences that reflect on opportunities in higher education and life. To reflect on my own practice, I'm currently working at a school that is highly impoverished. 96% of our population is eligible for free and reduced lunches, and we have a minority population of 97% of the students. Mindset of the students is almost that of a victim mentality. Nothing they do matters, so why try? My parents don't care if I'm successful at school. Why should I? I hear staff members telling me not to expect much from the students, not because of any abilities, but because they won't try. After these readings, it's obvious that our culture has sold these students a belief that their abilities are lacking and they are short on potential, which is really sad. After reading a GAO 2016 report, it is obvious that the reasons for the delayed school integration is a lack of accountability. The sheer fact that it took the Civil Rights Act of 1964 a whole 10 years after Brown to provide a means to enforce the rulings should help us to understand the lack of willingness to desegregate and provide equity in education. Once again, in Eyes on the Prize, they say it was the community that had the delay. It was the principals who didn't want to do anything. It was the school board that was all white. And it finally took the integration of black city council members and all that to get a change in the way that the instruction was happening in Boston. So without the accountability of funding and oversight, we probably wouldn't have ever seen integration as a result of the Civil Rights Act and Brown. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great week.